My amp unit, where you at? Holla at your boy, it's B-Mofo C in the house, and we gonna talk some Smackdown Live for Tuesday, July 9th, 2019. We're bouts to talk about Smackdown Live from last night, but first I just want to thank all of you that reached out to the Amplified Man right here on the YouTube machine and over on the social media machines, Twitter and Instagram, and all of you that informed and congratulated the Amplified Man on hitting 12,000 subscribers. Guys, that's not just something I did, that's something we all did as the Amplified unit. You guys know the story if you've been with me for a while. When I started this channel and a lot of people told me I'm too intense and I'm too straightforward and I gotta give a little bit more, or I'm not even gonna reach 5,000 subscribers ever. I could be on this thing 20, 25, 30 years. I'm not going to captivate an audience if I don't change my ways. I refuse to change my ways, and in fact, I just got more amplified as time went on. I not only shattered that 5,000 subscribers that they said I'd never get, but I went and doubled that, and just a couple months ago got 10,000. And when I was really kind of letting that sink in, literally just a few weeks later, we hit 11,000. That was just last month. And I haven't even fathomed that yet. And here we are. I'm being informed that I nailed 12,000. So to say I'm humbled, it would be an understatement. Because to be honest with you guys, I'm still stuck on grasping the fact that I hit 10,000. So to be at 12,000 now, and we're already working our way. For what I'm being told, we're already working our way toward 13 already. As in another 100 past 12,000. I mean, that's just, it's mind-boggling to even think about, because in all honesty, guys, I don't really think about those numbers on the day-to-day basis. I truly am all about giving you guys the best reviews, the best content, and that fulfills me. And in the process, it's really cool to see what we have growing, man, and to know that 12,000 people are on board, and we ain't stopping. We just keep, I mean, they said I wouldn't hit 5. We celebrated 10. I mean, there's going to be a day sooner rather than later. Hopefully, we're talking about 20,000 people, guys. Again, I can't fathom that. 10,000 is still what I'm stuck on. To find out that I hit 12, that's so cool. So thank you guys for informing me and congratulating me. Nothing but love and respect, and let's keep going forward together. Now that we got the sappy shit out of the way, now we can get into SmackDown Live last night. I left a tweet a few hours before SmackDown Live because WWE broke the news hours before SmackDown that the main event was going to be Kevin Owens versus Dolph Ziggler. So I tweeted out to anybody that had any power in WWE, from Vince to Stephanie to Triple H to WWE themselves. That's right, I was tagging everybody up. Everybody was being added. And I just pleaded. I said, please, guys, what happened to you? Do you even care anymore? I said, we've seen Owens and Ziggler so many times. I remember seeing them at the Fastlane pay-per-view a few years back. I remember seeing them on multiple Raws, multiple Smackdowns. Why are we seeing this now, middle of 2019, meaninglessly? There's just no reason. I mean, is it so hard to ask for 2 hours of entertaining your fan base? Just for 2 hours. We're coming off of a horrible Raw, 3 hours of nothingness. Is it so much to ask that you can just give us 2 hours of entertainment tonight? And I just left that tweet out there. Now, we ended up getting our wish. That immediately got canceled in the first couple of minutes of SmackDown. Now, I'm not one of these people in the community that says something and when it actually happens, I pat myself on the back and I say, see, they listen to me. They watch me. I'm a big entity in this profession. No, man, come on. I got an ego. It ain't that fucking big, bro. I don't care who's watching or listening as long as what I am saying, the effects of what I'm saying actually are heard, whether it's from me or by others. But as long as it gets to the powers that be and they make the necessary changes, I don't care if I'm the direct influence to that or not. As long as we are making change together, I don't need to be the flag bearer all the time. I don't care if they are or are not watching me, as long as people like me, who do have audiences, are using these platforms in the correct way. So, I'm not going to stroke my ego and say they listened to people like me, they heard the outcries when they broke the news that Dolph was going to take on Owens, they heard all the backlash, and they decided to change it. I don't care who's the reasoning for it. I'm just happy that we got the end result. That match was canceled. Because that was not going to stick people around for 2 hours. What we ended up getting was Roman and Dolph, but the way they went about business was a little bit more intriguing than just announcing Dolph versus Owens. And we found out in the first few minutes that match would not be happening. So at least my tweet played a small part, hopefully, in people changing their minds. Or was that part of the script all along? They were just supposed to advertise it, and then they decided, no, let's go Roman Dolph, and we'll have Owens interfere in the main event. Who knows? Let's just be happy we didn't get Dolph and Owens again. Now that I got the spiel out of the way, let's talk about the actual facts at hand that occurred last night. Starting with the opening of the show, instead of just zooming in from the corner of the half-filled arena, or you could look at it as half empty, but instead of zooming in from that corner camera and Tom Phillips just going, "Welcome everyone to Smackdown." No interest, no excitement, and then we just have somebody come down the rampway to cut a promo. Lackluster and boring. No, instead, we started it a little differently. We had Dolph Ziggler coming up in the parking lot with his bags. He gets cut off in the parking lot for an impromptu interview. And Dolph Ziggler starts talking some trash about Kevin Owens. Now, behind this interview, Owens actually pulls up, rolls down his window, and he hears every word that Dolph is saying about him. So Owens starts honking his horn. This pisses off Dolph. "What are you doing? I'm doing an interview over here. Stop honking." Owens gets out of the car. They start sprawling a little bit verbally with each other, and it didn't take long for things to get physical. They start beating the hell out of each other, and it didn't take long for Owens to get a busted mouth. He's bleeding from his mouth. Owens is trying to get the Dolph and vice versa. Shane McMahon appears out of nowhere, and Shane says that's it. The main event tonight is canceled. And he said, "Owens, get in your car and get out of here. Dolph, go in the back. Dolph, go. You get in your car, Owens, get out of here." Owens is like, "No, I'm finishing this tonight. I got a match with Dolph." Shane is like, "No, you don't. Not anymore. Get in your car, get out." So Shane McMahon kicks out Kevin Owens. So it's a pretty cool way to start SmackDown, right? I mean, different, again, than just getting that corner shot like we do on Raw and SmackDown and Michael Cole or Tom Phillips going, "Welcome everyone to Raw, welcome everyone to SmackDown." No fireworks, no fucking pyro, no explosions, no badass entrance theme. Just, show theme, I should say. Nothing feels energetic anymore. So at least this was a different pace, a different setup. So I like that, man. And again, for me, I just realized we ain't gonna see Owens and Dolph later in the night. Perfect. Owens finds his way to ringside anyway, though. Moments later, he goes in a roundabout way. He gets back into the arena, goes through the crowd, finds his way to ringside, grabs a mic, and he starts cutting the same exact promo, basically, that Seth Rollins cut a few months ago. Talking about how there's been no change, even when they said there'll be change. People deserve chances and they're not getting it. He even names some names. And it's funny because the same people that loved Owens' promo last night are the same people that totally shit on Seth Rollins when he cut that promo a few months ago. And I'm sure you're going to say, well, BC, Owens was more believable, Rollins wasn't. Well, I call bullshit because I thought Owens was kind of forced in that promo last night. If Owens can cut back a bit so it's not as frantic and his words aren't so frantic and scattered, and he can be much more in control of those words, then this could be good. This could be a good Kevin Owens. And this could be a badass run and push. Stone Cold-esque, because that's where Eric Bischoff wants to take this character. This kind of Kevin Owens. But he can't be as frantic. He gets on that mic and he just starts shouting a bunch of shit, and you kind of got to keep up with it. And he's talking about there's no change, and people deserve chances, and this person, you can't block me from the arena, and I had a match tonight, and Shane, you're getting too much TV time, and this and that, and it's like, dude, relax, hold up. I'm all for being amplified. I'm all for screaming and shouting and yelling, and I'm all about being batshit crazy, but let's do it in a controlled manner. Let's have your words actually be impactful instead of just scattered and frantic. Because you're going to capture and captivate people a lot more if they're understanding what you're saying. That's Owens' problem when he really gets kind of energetic. When Owens gets amplified, he starts becoming a little bit scattered and frantic, and his words just shout out. We need that to be a little bit more brought in, reel it back a little bit, control those words, and then dish them out. And I promise you, they're going to be much more captivating. So if Owens can work on that, man, this could be fucking badass. We know Eric Bischoff is really high on Owens, so this could be a much-needed push for Kevin Owens. And something that I'm sure we'd all like to see. It looks like they're giving him the rocket. I mean, this is kind of forced, like Stone Cold-esque. Unfortunately, every single anti-authority character, we are always going to compare to Austin. It's because the bar was set so high with Austin that that's just the way it is. We saw it with CM Punk. We saw it with Becky Lynch. We see it now with Kevin Owens. We're always going to compare them to Austin, and that's unfair because nobody can ever be another Austin. The bar is too high. Owens could never compare. But it just seems like they're going out of their way to make him like that next Austin character. And then on top of that, he's actually using the Stone Cold Stunner. I don't know if I agree with all that. The similarities are too much. We'll see. Time will tell. But that was the entire opening segment. It was really dedicated to making Kevin Owens something. And you guys know I'm all about creating characters. Can Owens become larger than life? That remains to be seen. Booking and creative would have to fully get behind him. Again, remains to be seen. We hadn't seen the last of Owens, though. Later in the night, there was a Roman Reigns versus Dolph Ziggler main event, and Owens would be back into that arena somehow, some way. We'll talk about it. First, moving on with the way the night progressed, Nakamura ended up taking on Intercontinental Champion Finn Balor in a non-title match. I just don't understand why this match needed to happen because at the onset of this, we haven't really seen a lot of the IC strap holder Finn Balor. We don't see a lot of Nakamura at all, so why place them together? That's the thing that's going to create 50-50 booking, and 50-50 booking ruins individuals. I would not have placed them in the ring together. Half of this match was on one side of my screen because the other half was running commercials for 5 minutes, and 5 minutes was half the match. So, just when I was about to compliment the way Smackdown does their commercials, at least they allow wrestling to continue because the commercial is just half the screen. So I was going to compliment that. I'm like, hey, we went to commercial and we're getting some wrestling. Something Raw doesn't do. But it got ruined because half the match literally was just on the split screen. And the other half was just 5 minutes and that was it. So I couldn't really get into Balor and Nakamura. And it looked like a decent match. I just didn't have it on my full TV. And you can also tell that Balor and Nakamura are just screaming, just pleading, just begging to have a badass match. They want to have a wrestling match. But on WWE TV, they're just not allowed to. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 2 commercial breaks. The flow and the rhythm is shattered before they even start going on the opening bell. And that's horrible because you remember what Balor and Nakamura did back in NXT and what they're capable of, and it's almost like you forgot about it because it's been so long since they've had Dynamite wrestling matches. I don't know, guys. I guess you could say this match was decent, but I just couldn't see enough of it to actually tell. In the end, Shinsuke ends up winning this match. Obviously, you knew that was going to happen. It was a non-title match, and Vince McMahon loves to have his champions lose matches all the time on TV. So Nakamura picks up the W. I guess this will lead to more matches with Nakamura and Balor. All right. Samoa Joe is backstage cutting a promo, badass backstage promo on Kofi Kingston, but it's all for nothing because we've seen this song and dance before. We've seen these guys who are really good on the mic talk a big game and they can't back it up when the bell hits. We've seen this with Bray Wyatt before in the past. Bray Wyatt always carried storylines. Bray Wyatt was awesome on the mic. His words captivated you, and he sounded badass. But when he got into the big match, he always lost the big match. Drew McIntyre talks a big game. He captivates you. He's badass on the mic. But when he gets into the ring for a big match, he loses it all the time. Samoa Joe, badass. Diesel on the mic. When he gets in the ring for a big match, he's always losing them. Eventually, you're going to lose the crowd. They're going to see through your bullshit. And that's what I mean about 50-50 booking. They ruined Bray Wyatt, or at least the old Bray Wyatt. We'll see what the new one brings and what they allow him to do. They ruined Drew McIntyre already, and they've ruined Samoa Joe. That's truth. Contract signing between Bayley and Nikki Cross is up next. I liked it. Bayley came off sincere and believable. Nikki came off angry and unstable. It was a win-win for the Amplified Man. Bayley played up what she's supposed to be in this feud, which is she's looking out for Nikki. She actually likes Nikki, and she doesn't want to see her get manipulated by Alexa. So she is sincere. She is believable in trying to translate what she wants to get across to Nikki. It's really in a believable manner. And Nikki, on the other hand, angry and unstable because she doesn't want to be the little sister to Bayley. She doesn't want to be told how to be or how to act or what she should be doing. She can choose her own friends, you know? And Nikki's basically thinking, you can pat Sasha Banks on the head. You're not going to pat me on the head. I'm not your little sister. I can live my own life. And you don't have to look out for me or watch over me. In fact, I'm going to take your title Sunday. So I actually like this contract signing. This led into a Nikki Cross versus Carmella match, totally wasteless. 4 minutes long, Nikki Cross defeats Carmella and then boasts a little bit to Bayley, who's still at ringside. So, didn't need all that. We could have ended it at the contract signing. I would have been okay with it. Didn't even need physicality. Just end it at the contract signing. That's it. I didn't need to see Carmella taking an L in 4 minutes. That's booking they would give Ember Moon, but we'll get to that in a minute. Hour number 1 ends backstage with Paige smacking Billie Kay upside her dome piece. This was the Kabuki Warriors face-to-face with Billie Kay and Peyton Royce. If you don't know, if you've been living in the upside down because they're not relevant, Peyton Royce and Billie Kay, the Iconics, are actually the women's tag team champions. I don't blame you if you didn't know that because they don't even make that relevant. And that's why anyone who's saying Sasha needs to get back with Bayley and get back the tag straps, for what? To be in obscurity just like the Iconics? So, Paige is talking for Asuka and Kairi, obviously. She's the mouthpiece. And Paige just slaps Billie Kay, again, upside her dome piece, and says, we will be coming for those titles soon, because they did win an opportunity in Japan. So, Asuka and Kairi do have dibs on those titles. I guess from what Paige is saying, that'll be in the near future. We thought that was going to be Extreme Rules. It doesn't look like that's going to be the case. So we'll see. Maybe SummerSlam. Or beforehand. Hour number 2. Do you want to start? We'll go from the top, right? So from the top of hour 2, we got D-Bry and Rowan, Heavy Machinery in the New Day, and some tag team summit. We're all thinking, what the fuck is a tag team summit? Come to find out, it's just all 3 teams going at each other on the microphone. It's just a 6-person promo. That's all that. So they just gave it a fancy name. Stupid. But I actually enjoyed it because New Day, first of all, cut a 3-way joke. That's right. Big E cut the joke, a 3-way joke, and he's standing right next to Xavier. If you don't find the irony in that, yeah, think about that. Big E cuts a joke about a 3-way, and I'm not talking about a wrestling match. And you have Xavier. Yeah, you see where I'm going with this? Xavier standing. Exactly, guys. So I got a laugh out of that. And then D-Bry calls out the fact that the New Day has just become a comedy act. In fact, they've been a comedy act for several years now. And Daniel Bryan says you'll never get past mid-card status because that's all you are. I love the fact that they brought that out to the ring, something we've been saying behind the scenes for so long. Because Big E needs to hear that. It's one thing to be backstage and reading it on your social media or hearing the dirt sheets talk about it or watching it or reading it, whatever. But when you're in the ring and you get to hear it, even though it's part of the script, you know it's coming, it's good that it's out there because Big E needs to start realizing he's too good to be stuck in a three-way tag team. Big E needs to separate eventually, and eventually meaning a year ago, way past overdue. Big E needs to be on his own going for singles titles. He's that good, and he can carry himself accordingly. He's just stuck in this New Day gimmick, man, and it's I'm not even using the word stale. It's just no longer benefiting Big E. You know, aside from maybe financially, and that's great, but if you want to have a career 4 or 5 years from now, you gotta try new shit. You gotta get organic and original with your ideas. Try new things, step out of the box. You can't just take a gimmick that's been successful for 4 or 5 years just because it's been successful 4 or 5 years ago and continue to do it for 10 more years. You have to evolve. So anyway, I love D-Bry just calling that out. Heavy Machinery, they didn't really say anything of importance, but one thing I realized was Otis reminds me of Chris Farley. Do you guys know who Chris Farley is? Or am I just dating myself? Did I just fucking kind of age myself a little bit there? Chris Farley was a Saturday Night Live cast member, and he became a pretty funny movie star afterwards when he left SNL. And actually kind of while he was still with SNL. But if you guys don't know, Google up Chris Farley and see some of his work, and you will see some Otis in Chris Farley and vice versa. If they couldn't be brothers, then nobody can. It's really close, man. So even though Heavy Machinery didn't say anything of importance at this summit last night, I still got a good laugh out of just watching Otis on the mic because there's some Chris Farley vibes. We then went into a triple threat match. D-Bry, Otis, and Xavier, one member from each team. And for a schmaz, it was actually halfway decent. At one point, Otis had both Xavier and D-Bry up in a pretty badass suplex, both at the same time. That was really cool, showcasing his strength. And then not long after, there was chaos on the outside. This forced the ref to give Rowan, Big E, and Tucker all Das Boot. And they all got banned and kicked out from ringside. Insane props to Otis because he was blowing up in that match in the first 5 minutes. And Otis kept grinding through, and they actually allowed him to pull out the W in this match. So that was really cool to see because just a few minutes into this match, I saw Otis blowing up, and I'm just thinking to myself, you know, if they could give him this one match, that would be really cool, man, because he's really going to go out there and earn it. And Otis earned it, man. You're talking about a bigger dude who's used to tag team matches. So he's not really going at it full throttle for 10 minutes usually. No, he had to last night. And, you know, he didn't even have the no wrestling during commercial rule. He didn't get to benefit from that last night because when they went to commercial, it was one of those split screens. So Otis had to just keep rocking, brah. And he pulled out the W, and that was really cool to see. Moving on, Mandy Rose and Sonya, they're backstage at Catering to confront Ember Moon. That's right. There's she gets TV time, Ember Moon, and they have her at Catering. That's almost like a fuck you to everybody that has been advocating for Ember to get more TV time. It's almost like a fuck you to all of us. It's almost like, let's have Ember at Catering. So poor Ember, while Smackdown is going on, the actual show, she's getting food at Catering. And the big segment is Mandy and Sonya come up and make fun of her. Well, why wouldn't they make fun of her? One week she's reading fucking Harry Potter books or whatever. The next week she's playing Nintendo Switch. And the next week she's getting food at Catering during the show. Of course you're gonna make fun of her. They're booking Ember like a clown. So who could blame Mandy Rose and Sonya at this point? It's bullshit. Ember Moon is too damn good to be booked this damn bad. It's repulsive. And it all leads to, oh, if you get a tag team partner, then meet us next week for a tag match. Ember's like, you're on. And they're like, if you can even find a partner. What are we, back in fucking middle school? Meet me at the oak tree after class. If you can find the oak tree. Oh, I'll find it. It's the big one, and I carved my initials in it last year. I'll be there. What the fuck? If you can find a partner, oh, I'll find one. Good, be there. All right, I will. And this is Ember Moon. The same Ember from NXT. And this is what they do with her. They don't have a clue what to do with Ember Moon. So they literally, they get around their little fucking big creative table in Stamford, Connecticut, and they're going through the show, and they're like, what can we do with Ember? Do we just leave her off again? How about we have her at Catering, where she usually is? And we'll have her doing what she usually does, like just getting food, and we'll have Mandy confront her. If it seems like that, that gets me heated a little bit, yeah, pretty much. I fucking love Ember Moon because she's that damn good, and it's that damn tragic to see her treated like this. But BC, don't worry, TV time next week, man. A tag team match with Sonya and Mandy. Oh yeah, they're gonna give them 5 huge minutes. I can't wait for this. Cesaro is up next. He reveals himself as the mysterious knocker from Aleister Black's little fucking cave room. So it ends up it wasn't fucking Paulito from Uber Eats. It wasn't Joey from Domino's that accidentally got the wrong door a few weeks ago. No, Cesaro knocked on the door. It wasn't Uber Eats. It wasn't Domino's. It was Cesaro. At first you're thinking, oh, that's the big fucking reveal. We're hoping for somebody huge, a big name, a big splash, right? A surprise. And it's Cesaro. But when he sits down and you're seeing the two side by side and you're thinking, if Vince lets them go at one another, that's a badass match. Aleister versus Cesaro, if you give them even just 15 minutes up front, no commercials, this will be at a pay-per-view, Extreme Rules. If you give them even 15, I would like 17, 19, but beggars can't be choosers. Give them 15 and they will rock the house down. Will Vince give them that time? We'll see. But I think Cesaro and Aleister, there is some intrigue there. We'll see. Main event, this was Roman Reigns taking the place of Owens taking on Dolph Ziggler. Shane McMahon was watching this match on commentary like the amplified man watches a Yankee game. He was all up into it. He was out of his seat, yelling, screaming. I mean, that's how I watch my Yankees. So that was kind of funny. During this match, Shane gets in the ring for some reason, trying to go after Roman. And KO, Kevin Owens, appears out of nowhere, back to the arena, into the ring, and out of nowhere, not an RKO, a stone cold stunner to Shane McMahon. Not too long after, Roman gets in the ring. It was either a Superman punch or a spear. It doesn't fucking matter because 1, 2, 3, Roman Reigns defeats Dolph Ziggler right after Kevin Owens stunners Shane McMahon. So a pretty cool little sequence to pop the crowd. But because Kevin Dunn and company totally screwed up on time management, the second Roman won the match. You just heard Tom Phillips kind of frantically say Extreme Rules, and they just faded the blood. They didn't even fade. They just cut to the next show. So literally, when Roman won this match, that was all the time they had. They cut to the next show. I think Tom Phillips was just able to get out the words Extreme Rules Sunday. That was it. So you didn't have a chance to let it breathe. You know what I mean? Whoa, fucking Stone Cold Stunner the Shane. Something's going on there. And then you're thinking, okay, fucking... Okay, well, actually, there's no excitement for Roman Reigns. What am I saying? Wow, Roman and Shane, Sunday. Drew's going to be with Shane, and Roman's going to have The Undertaker. There was no excitement there. But I guess what I'm trying to say is, let the shit breathe. You just had a match. There was just a victor. There was some extracurricular activity. Let's breathe for a second before we fade to black and then go to the next USA Network show. Instead, Roman wins, Extreme Rules Sunday. Boom! Chris Lee knows best. Well, I don't know what the hell everyone's doing. Whatever that fucking Chris Lee show is. You guys know what I'm talking about? The Southern guy. Chris, is that after Raw? Maybe that's not Smackdown. But Chris Lee knows best. He said, well, I don't even know where my daughter is. What the hell is she doing? Where the hell's Lacey Evans? Well, I'll be damned. I just want some of that amplified man. I'm losing it now, guys. I gotta go get some fucking coffees and go about my Wednesday. That was SmackDown. Not terrible, okay? Could it have been fucking much better? No question. A million things could have been better about this show. But coming off of Raw, they actually tried some shit there. I love the fact that they're trying to make something out of Kevin Owens. It just looks like a knockoff Stone Cold. Unfortunately, they got to change that. But I love the fact that they're giving him some room to become something special in the company. And again, that's a direct effect from Eric Bischoff, obviously. Bischoff is really high on Owens, and he said from the longest time that if he gets control of WWE ever, or gets control of somebody like Owens, they're going to the top. Bischoff has said that numerous times. Well, guess what? Bischoff is going to be controlling SmackDown if he isn't already getting his blueprints on shit. And Owens is going to get a big rocket strapped to his back. So I like to see that already in progress. I like a lot of the mic work last night between Nikki and Bayley and all the tag teams. Heavy Machinery, D. Bryan, Rowan, and New Day. All the mic work was pretty fantastic. Owens and Dolph in the parking lot was kind of cool. A cool way to start off the night. So yeah, man, I don't know. Cesaro and Aleister Black does intrigue me a bit for Extreme Rules. Samoa Joe gave another badass promo, but it's just going to lead to nothing. I see Samoa Joe is just always losing the big matches, but at least he delivered another knockout promo. So yeah, there was a lot of good shit last night, man, you know? And again, we had a bad taste in our mouths from Raw, so I don't think we were expecting a good show, so maybe we still don't look at last night's SmackDown as a good show because Raw was so bad. But it actually was when you put all the pieces together. There's not a lot of bad that I can talk about. So, I mean, that's a step in the right direction. The problem is every time we say WWE took a step in the right direction, they always take 6 steps backwards. So I'm not going to give them any credit. They put on a decent show last night that was much better than Raw, but now we're going into Extreme Rules. It's all about what have you done for me lately. And when it comes to Sunday, what are you giving us? Are you going to put on another just glorified Raw or SmackDown, which these days doesn't even mean anything? It's just another Raw or SmackDown. Are you going to give us the same exact set that we see on Raw and SmackDown? Are you going to continue to give us no pyro, even though it's a pay-per-view special event? Is everything going to look the same? Is everything going to have the same vibe? And if that's the case, then you're going to have to really sell me on why I should give a shit about Extreme Rules for those 4 hours Sunday night. Honestly, I mean, that's the truth, guys. They got to start making these pay-per-views feel like they're different than Raw. Feel that they're different than SmackDown. Give us that different vibe and make it an actual special event. For people that don't even own the network and they're buying it on pay-per-view, give them a reason to feel like what they just paid their hard-earned money for was justified. There's a concept. And here's another concept. Entertain your audience. It's not that hard. If you have 617 creative writers, start using them correctly. Entertain your audience. I'm the Amplified Man. That's it for now. I'll see you guys for an impromptu video tomorrow or Friday. This weekend, the podcast, the 24th episode, I believe we're up to. So we're going to have a lot of fun. Thank you guys again for 12,000 subscribers, man. Couldn't do it without you, and I didn't. We're all together in this. The Amplified Man. Look at that, baby. For now, we're saying check you.